The U.S. is heading into a scorching hot summer following the hottest May on record, putting Americans already vulnerable to coronavirus at heightened risk of heat-related illness and death. Climate change is making heat waves more frequent and intense across the world. Higher than normal temperatures are likely to hit the mid-Atlantic states and much of the west and southwest over the following months, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center. People who are most at risk of heat-related illnesses and coronavirus have underlying health conditions and are older than age 65. And while roughly 90% of U.S. households have air conditioning, according to federal census figures, a disproportionate number of people who are low-income or minorities don't have it in their homes. Those most vulnerable will have the least access to cool places that are away from larger groups of people, said Vivek Shandas, a professor of urban studies and planning at Portland State University, who studies heat mapping across the country. During the pandemic, many public cooling centers are closed, and those that are open must cut their capacity under public health guidelines. People who don't have AC could be forced to go to cooling centers, which are also hotbeds for coronavirus spread, as research shows that air-conditioned ventilation can circulate and spread the virus between people. If you have limited resources, significant underlying health issues, and live in a particularly warm spot in the city's landscape or work in an outdoor job, that can prove to be a recipe for heat illness or even fatality, said Jeremy Hoffman, chief scientist at the Science Museum of Virginia, who is helping the city of Richmond to deal with hot temperatures. An estimated 12,000 Americans die of heat-related causes each year, most of whom are older than 60, according to researchers at Duke University. When the wet bulb temperature, a measurement for how heat and humidity affect how the air feels and impacts the body, goes above 35 degrees Celsius (95 degrees Fahrenheit), the body can't cool itself and begins to overheat. I'm most worried about people living without AC in one-story, highly porous buildings. I also worry about those also living in high-density apartments, Shandas said. In both cases, the quality of buildings will often amplify temperatures, creating oven-like conditions that far exceed the body's ability to thermoregulate. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention offers guidelines suggesting cities and states assist with paying utility bills, provide fever checks for those at cooling centers, and require utility companies to not shut off power during extreme heat conditions. While some cities have implemented some of those strategies, many haven't. And efforts haven't gone far enough because the problem is so pervasive, experts say.